Welcome to today's deep dive.
Yeah.
We are looking at February 2026, which is going to be remembered as the month the IT sector basically just broke.
Yeah, it broke hard.
Right. And if you've been watching the tickers, you know we aren't talking about a market correction here. We are looking at a structural earthquake. And our mission today is to unpack the catalyst from our sources, Anthropic's release of Claude Opus 4.6.
It really is the defining moment of the decade. But we need to be specific about why. It wasn't just that the model got smarter or faster. It's that this version actually introduced true autonomous agentic planning.
That distinction is so critical. Past versions were, well, they were basically really fast typists. You told them what to write, they wrote it.
Yeah.
But this new model, I mean, it's a project manager.
Exactly.
It doesn't just write a function. It understands how that function breaks the database 3 layers down, and it fixes it before you even have to ask. The reports show it's actively modernizing legacy COBOL cores. We're talking refactoring global banking infrastructure in quarters instead of years.
Which brings us to the immediate casualty here, IBM. The stock crashed 13.2% in a single day.
Yeah, that is the worst decline since the dot-com bubble. But IBM has survived tech shifts before, right? They pivoted to cloud, they pivoted to consulting. Why is the market reacting like this is the actual end of the road?
Because it signals the end of the billable hour. The entire traditional IT service industry is built on headcount. So if an autonomous agent can plan and execute the work of 1,000 junior developers for a fraction of the cost, that revenue model just evaporates overnight.
Panic selling is one thing, but that Citrini research report that came out alongside the crash, it points to a much deeper structural fear. They're calling it ghost GDP.
Right. This is where the macroeconomics get terrifying. Traditionally, economic output relies on human wages plus profit. But Citrini is arguing we're moving to a formula where output is driven purely by machine productivity.
So the output goes up because the agents literally never sleep.
Yeah, but human wages trend towards zero. That creates what they call the 2028 global intelligence crisis. Look, if machines produce everything but buy nothing, the math breaks. Robots don't buy jeans, they don't take vacations, and they don't buy houses.
It's the ultimate supply-side miracle, but a total demand-side disaster. If you can make 1 million iPhones an hour but nobody has a job to pay for them, Apple's revenue goes to zero. And for you listening, looking at the labor stats, this isn't theoretical anymore. We're seeing the hollowing of the talent pyramid.
We really are. The numbers are stark.
Entry-level tech postings are down 67% from their 2023 peaks. And for workers aged 22 to 25 in AI-exposed fields, employment has dropped 13%.
The training wheels tasks are just gone. Boilerplate coding, manual testing, data wrangling, those were the tasks where junior employees learned the ropes. Now the AI just does them instantly.
This creates a massive vulnerability for countries relying on service exports. If the U.S. stops hiring remote support and dev teams because they just use agents, those economies crash, which seems to be exactly why India is pivoting so hard right now.
They saw the writing on the wall early. India is executing the strategy of sovereign intelligence. They are moving from being the world's back office to becoming a self-sufficient innovation powerhouse.
And the capital allocation is massive. You have the Tata PSMC Fab committing 91,000 crore rupees to build chips domestically.
Because they realize you can't have software sovereignty if you don't control the silicon, and the software side is just as aggressive with the government-funded BharatGen project.
That's the large language model supporting 22 Indian languages, right?
Spot on. Instead of renting intelligence from Western companies, which puts them at the mercy of foreign pricing and policy, they're building their own core infrastructure.
So for you trying to navigate this landscape as a listener, if the entry-level coding jobs are gone and nations are walling off their AI stacks, what do the survivors actually look like?
The career frontier is moving from model builders to trust architects.
Trust architects.
Yeah.
So less syntax, more safety.
It's about managing the agents. We're seeing new roles like trust engineers, AI reliability SREs, ethics officers. Basically, you become the human in the loop. You stop writing the code and start auditing the agent that writes the code.
And specifically, ensuring they adhere to the MANAV vision, moral, accountable, and national.
Precisely. The value add isn't generation anymore. It's verification and alignment.
This is clearly a permanent realignment. It's not just a blip.
It is. And it leaves us with that ghost GDP paradox we touched on earlier. If the stated goal of these government initiatives is welfare for all, we have to answer a very difficult question.
Which is?
How do we restructure a global economy where value is created by autonomous agents, but human wages are no longer the primary mechanism for distributing that wealth?
That is the multi-trillion-dollar question. And to leave you with a final thought on that, if an autonomous agent is the one generating the actual value, who exactly pays the income tax that runs the government? Do we start taxing the algorithms themselves based on their output? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.